Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn. We are coming to you live on YouTube as well as Yavapai College. So make sure that throughout the week you'll watch all of our filmmaker interviews and celebrity interviews on YouTube. And like I said, as we're coming to you live. And we are known as the Filmmakers Film Festival. So I'd like to introduce you, David Abel, with the film Petal Pushers. Welcome to Sedona.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yep, and we were just talking right before that we kind of dress differently. It's hot outside. The East Coast just got a blizzard of a snowstorm.
Almost 3 feet of snow.
Yes,
where
which
I
is
live.
crazy.
Yep.
And
yep.
so, and you got out, and you're from Boston originally, or were you in New York?
I live in Boston. I grew up in New York,
Right.
which is the scene of the film. But yeah, both got hit really hard, and I was incredibly lucky to get out before.
Yes.
I was supposed to come today, and I probably would not have been here had I not been super lucky to be able to get a flight out on Sunday.
That was awesome. And you could see that he is dressed for the 60-something, 70 weather in Sedona, and I am dressed for the blizzard in New York. So if there's sweat pouring off, you know why.
Well, you'll be dressed appropriately later tonight.
Yes, that's exactly right, when the sun goes down, because
Yeah,
then the desert gets
exactly.
cold.
Yeah.
So talk to me, because I want to talk also about your career a little bit, but talk to me about Petal Pushers, because it is about your family and a family business that you have had for, I'm trying to remember the number of years.
Almost 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was also in a very special location.
Yes. Yeah. So the film, it's titled The Petal Pusher, and it is screening tomorrow at 10 a.m. as part of the Shorts Block Program 2, and then Friday at 4 p.m., same block. And the film is meant to be an ode to New York City's Penn Station, an ode to the pre-renovation, dismal, dingy Penn Station. And it is told through the prism of what we believe was the longest operating small business there, which was my family's flower shop, otherwise known as the Petal Pusher.
Right.
And the film is something that I actually shot almost a decade ago now, as my mom told me that she had to shut down, and she had to shut down in part because it was becoming really difficult for small businesses to continue to operate there. They just kept jacking up the rents, and as they were planning this long deferred renovation, the renovations were going to have an impact on our business. So my mom decided that she had no choice but to shut it down, which was hard for me because I grew up in this very distinct place in this universe. I mean, it is one of the It is the busiest transit hub in North America. Hundreds of thousands of people travel through Penn Station every single day. It brings together every walk of life, and for me, it was just like an amazing stage to grow up on. Just witnessing this what I describe as this great mulligatawny of humanity.
Yes, yes. And, people who don't live in New York, you don't really quite understand. So it wasn't like just a flower shop that you would walk into. It was kind of like this flower shop because New Yorkers love like ease, right? Just to grab flowers. And everything was already all wrapped up, ready to go. So all New Yorkers had to do was pick out a bouquet of flowers, pay, and leave.
well, no, in our place, there was wrapping was part of it. So
yeah, but the wrapping was before the people, right?
No. They would pick out the flowers,
Okay.
and then we would wrap them up.
Okay.
And
Maybe it was for Valentine's Day or for the holiday.
well, sometimes maybe they were
Yes.
pre-done, like single roses would be pre-done. But for the most part, that was the process. We had this one store, which was sort of the central hub of the business, and then we had little satellite kiosks around Penn Station
Okay.
that we fed into, and it was just on Valentine's Day in particular. It was mayhem. I mean, it was crazy, and every member of my family has a story of just some crazy thing that happened while selling flowers there.
Right. And then, one of the things that I kind of felt really bad about, because some of the workers work there for probably since the time that you opened, there people were with you. And so when your mom had to say, we're shutting down, the thing that I thought about is, where are they going to go? And that, like, I almost started crying about that.
Yeah, no, it was devastating for them and for us, and yeah, it was really hard. I mean, I grew up in this business with this business, and a lot of the employees were with us from when I was really young, and so they were part of my family, and it was super sad when we had to break the news that we were finally shutting down. But thankfully, just a few months ago in New York at the Doc NYC Film Festival, we had our premiere, and we were able to bring together a lot of the guys for the first time since we shut down, and it was really cathartic and wonderful to be able to share this film with them.
Oh, that's awesome. And what is your mom doing now?
So my mom is more or less retired, but she lives in Florida, where both my parents moved years ago, and that was also one of the challenges of running this business, that they lived in Florida and they would come up and back and forth, and it's hard to run a business like that. But now she still actually is selling flowers. She has like a small business in her home, and she kind of, like, for Valentine's Day was super busy, and like she's known as like the flower lady, in the community where she lives in South Florida, and she imports flowers from the same people we used to import flowers from in Ecuador primarily.
Oh my gosh.
And she gets like a bundle, and she's got a whole little crew. They wrap them and put them in vases, and then she sells them to lots of her friends.
Oh my gosh, that is just such a beautiful story. And I know that, in the film, there was a couple of interviews with people who were really sad because they were like, we've been buying flowers from this every Friday for 23 years. Like, how many times is that?
Yeah, exactly, right. And yeah, that was like the insult to the injury. Just, I mean, it was painful for so many people, including a lot of the customers who we knew as well, and knew my parents very deeply.
Yes. So tell me about, where did the interest of film, you said you did this about 10 years ago, right? And looking at your bio, typically I'm trying to remember it because we don't write things down, but you have won major awards for your newspaper writing. Do you currently still work for the Globe in Boston?
So I spent 25 years as a reporter at the Boston Globe, and started learning about making films while I was a reporter there. Now I'm a professor at Boston University, and that's my main gig, but I still contribute to the Globe regularly. Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about how I got into filmmaking, if that's what you're asking.
I mean, first I want to go back because I know you're humble and you're not talking about it, but you've won a Pulitzer Award for the team of the Boston bombings. Is that correct?
Correct.
And numerous awards. You won an Emmy.
We were nominated for a national
Emmy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm even trying to remember what
we won
the
a
other...
local Emmy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, amazing. The story from the Boston Marathon, when that whole issue happened there. You were in the Balkan Islands covering that. Was it Latin America?
Latin America
as well?
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm just like so impressed with your background.
Thank you.
Yes, very, very much impressed.
Thank you.
So how do you like the transition from being a reporter out in the field to teaching?
Well, I'm still trying to balance it all. Teaching has its own rewards. Sometimes it's also a little bit trying. But, I've been doing the same sort of thing for many years. And when I got this opportunity to move to Boston University, it was hard to turn down. And the students give me a lot of excitement when they're really eager. They give me a lot of despair when they're not. But for the most part, it's been exciting to just see people who have no clue about what journalism is about, to actually emerge from the university with serious skills, having already published, and then go on to actually produce serious journalism. And that is incredibly amazing to see.
Yes, it's interesting. I just had a conversation with these two women this morning about journalism and how it's changed. I started my career in Washington, D.C., working in news, and watching how it evolves now, and how a story at that time, I'm not even going to say how many years ago that was, but at that time it was all filled with facts and truth, right? There was nothing that, it's all true news, not fake news. And so now, not that it's fake news, it seems more like embellished news. So I don't know if you feel like, being in news most of your career, or all of your career, how you've seen news change over the years.
Well, that is a very big question. So the most serious and reputable publications, for the most part, I feel like hold on to the vital ideals of journalism, which is to shine light in dark places, is to give voice to the voiceless, to hold power to account, and to quote an adage, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And the best news organizations do that every day. There is a lot of distortion, though, in the sense that nowadays, anyone with a keyboard or a camera can simulate what real journalism is, and that creates a lot of turbulence and misinformation and distortion. There are quite a number of news organizations that actually, have all the theatrical elements, like on television at least, that make it seem, or even online, or in print to some extent, that make it seem like they're serious, reputable news organizations, but they're actually focused on purveying an ideological agenda, or they're like influencers, that are essentially selling products but not really disclosing that they're selling products. So that has warped, I think, a general understanding of what the news media is supposed to be about. And thankfully, despite severe economic turbulence in the last decade, as we have seen a radical transformation in the way people read or digest the news, there are still some great bulwarks of important journalism.
And so I'm hoping, and I'm not even hoping, I know you're teaching your students all about that, all about the good things.
I try.
Well, you're doing a good job.
I hope so.
Well, and your film Petal Pusher, that's why we're here, but I got sidetracked because I thought it was important to talk about that, and also your background. So Petal Pusher's tomorrow at...
The Petal Pusher is showing tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Okay.
at Harkins,
Okay.
And then on Friday at 4 p.m. also at Harkins, I think.
Awesome. Okay. And let's do a shout out to your mom in Florida.
Yes, I love you, Mom, and thank you for letting me interrupt you while you were being a somewhat difficult interview subject, and everything I learned about journalism and filmmaking all went out the door when your family member becomes a subject, and you just no, Mom, you're wrong about that.
That's right. That's
You
right.
normally don't want to interview with your subjects.
I know, but the good thing is that you have a very talented son. So I know you're very proud of him. And we're just doing a shout out from Sedona. Thank you for starring in the Petal Pushers. And, we're so happy to have you here. So thank you so much,
you.
David, for being with us. And don't forget to watch us on YouTube. Follow us on Sedona International Film Festival on social media. #Sedona Film Fest. And we'll be back continually with more interviews from the Sedona International Film Festival.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.